You're listening to The Scene right here on WCRX 88.1 FM, Chicago.
That's what's up. It's The Scene here in Chicago's Underground. Nikki Butler, Becky Neisted, and we have Shuteye live with us back in studio. Welcome back, ladies.
Hi.
It's happy album release day.
Yes, it is.
No longer hush hush.
I can't hear myself. Yes, I can.
Are you good now?
Yes.
Can you hear yourself now? Sorry. Is it the tattoo? Is it coming? Is it working its way up?
That over
I think
here.
it's the headphones.
Oh.
But it could be the tattoo.
The lotion.
It's the ointment that's
Yeah.
gone, the fumes. I'm just,
So Elena got a tattoo. She raise it up, maybe the people on Ustream can see it. Her arm is like twice the size of what it should be.
Shark is like eating
I'm
your
sorry,
arm.
Mom.
So let's talk about the new album. How does it feel to have it out? And
It's a big relief.
Yeah, a lot of work went into it, so it's good to finally get it out.
And then it's also kind of like you feel like you could breathe for 15 seconds, and then you realize how much more work you have than the actual album, because the music is like the tiniest bit of getting it out.
mm-hmm.
So it's kind of,
There's a lot of, I guess it would be the prep work. Now it's the actual.
Right. So when you guys both woke up today, you're like, okay, the album's out. How did you feel? Start with you.
I don't know.
You were just like, it's out.
Kind of. Like I woke up and I was like, whoa. Like, yeah, that's today.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a good feeling.
I woke up and updated 85 websites and copied links, made sure that everything works properly. And, I've been doing that since 5 in the morning.
Yeah, retweet, doing all that sort of thing.
Saying a lot of thank yous for all the nice friends that support us. Yeah.
So have you guys you've been getting a lot of love so far in the first, I guess, 12 hours that it's been out?
Yeah, we've had a lot of love, I guess. I posted it. We had a free stream on SoundCloud yesterday with a free download, and it got a lot of hits, and a lot of people are saying nice things about it and passing it to their friends and so on, which is, I guess, how it starts.
Yeah, exactly.
Word of mouth and a lot of cool friends.
We're the word of mouth generation now, it feels like.
Yes.
So can you tell us what's the biggest difference you would say between the EP that you released in the spring, right, or summer?
Or the songs from
December,
the EP.
It was mid-December last year.
Oh, sorry.
And then we had a single in February.
Yeah.
Those are on the album.
Right.
Also.
They're
But you guys-
remastered though.
Yeah.
They're louder.
Sounds better.
I agree.
Yes.
Sounds a lot better. Not to say that.
What's the difference?
Yeah. What do you think if somebody who picked up the EP and then now they're picking up the album? Obviously the other, the more songs.
I think we chose those songs on the EP to make it like really versatile and to, not have everything sound the same, even though half the album is done at that point. Also, it was just kind of, like How You Are, I Never sounds way different than Sun Night Sky and Wonderland. Like we just wanted to have a diverse EP, and the rest of the record, it's just tracks that we love, and like Died we finished recently, and Dreams.
I think maybe we just notice more because we know what we started with songs, and then the other songs we wrote last, and there's just a big change and growth in them in general. So
yeah, the production's definitely different. I think you learn things just working all the time, obviously, and upgrade the studio and put some money into it, new toys, and
exactly,
just a lot of lessons of like just different things, mixing the record, everything really. So
how about Alicia, from a songwriting standpoint? How is it different for you?
I think in the beginning, like we used tracks that either like I started it off with having like vocals and whatever too, or she would have beats and we'd work on them and collaborate, and then later we just started actually starting from scratch together. And I think from working together over time on the other ones, it definitely became easier. Like in the beginning it was more of a challenge, just like me and her both really stubborn in our own way, and but it's a lot of compromise, and I don't know, it works really well, I think.
So you'd say your efficiency probably went up as far as making songs?
I think there's just like a better understanding in the studio. I think our styles were so different in the beginning. It's kind of, you're afraid to compromise where you came from, so it's a lot of like trying to get on the same page, and then after a while you're just kind of okay, it's cool, we'll just make music and
it's just easier to go with it.
See what happens.
It's we'll just make music now. No,
really, because like in the beginning I think we were like super perfectionists, and then eventually you learn like you can't keep being that way or it'll never get done. So
Right. Are there a lot of tracks that didn't make the album? Like, are you guys going to have, like, a B-sides, maybe?
There's a couple that didn't, but, you know, I don't think they're going to make it.
I forgot about those.
She's like,
There's
it's
no
out
B-sides.
now. I'm
There'll
over.
be remixes. We've
It's
got a
funny
bunch of
too
people
because they're
doing
like completely done. Some of them, they're just
Oh,
hidden.
yeah, I did make a couple of those songs.
Have you guys performed any of the songs that in your shows that are on this album that weren't from the EP?
Yes.
How was that
a lot
for you
of
guys?
actually a lot of the stuff we perform at the show wasn't on the EP. We only performed Sun Night Sky really off that EP, and then Hearts and Stones was the single. The rest of it was all newer stuff, just because it's more upbeat, and I think, you know, the other stuff just doesn't go really with what we're doing. Like, we like the songs and they're great, but they're not what we want to do live, if that makes sense. We've been doing Died and Dreams lately, and I know Gold, and we did Wonderland in the beginning, but our live shows changed like entirely from February when we started doing shows. Like, all the instruments have changed. Pretty much all the gear's changed. Like, now it's really digital and it's a lot more precise and on point, and we just kind of figured out the best way. Yeah. I mean, we figured out the most efficient and best way to do it where, you know, it sounds good and we're still, you know, doing it the right way, I guess, and, you know.
Okay, cool.
Well, so you guys have, I mean, we had you on sort of when the scene was like a toddler, as we said earlier, like one of our first shows.
So was Shuteye.
Oh, yeah, exactly. We were both crawling at the same time.
Were we here before the first show we played or after? I don't remember.
It was before.
It was before.
Yeah. It was before your taste show. I know that.
It was like in
June, May or June.
Mid-June, some point.
So you guys have played a lot of really awesome shows. I mean, you opened for Crystal Castles. You played the...
Well, Elena did.
You played the...
Yes.
Shuteye DJ set. You played, you opened for Coco Rosie at Webster Hall. Just talk to us a little bit about sort of, you know, as Becky said, you played a lot of the songs that were on the album, so no one had necessarily heard those songs other than live. So what was that like playing, you know, songs for people who wouldn't necessarily had heard them recorded, I guess?
I mean, I think at that, and still at this point, most people haven't heard the stuff. It's like, you know, we're still just getting it out there. And, you know, it's been an awesome year, obviously. Like, it's getting better and better, but it's still... I think that all the tracks are new and people have no idea, so you get the same reaction of, like, everyone's been really supportive and really awesome about it. You know, we haven't gotten stuff thrown at us or any of the weird stuff, and, you know, we keep booking more shows, so I guess that's a good sign.
How was the Webster Hall show? You guys opened for Coco Rosie and Jean Grey?
It was like 40 bands, so we were on the other stage. We weren't on the, you know, the big one with Coco Rosie, but it was Jean Grey and, you know, Computer Magic and Coco Rosie, and even honestly, it was like the only festival, and I've been to so many festivals in my life,
right,
where every single band you heard on every little stage that you never heard of was really, really solid and really, really talented, and they did so well with the selection of artists, and there's people from all around the world there, but it was crazy. There was just so much good music, and it was a lot to take in. And Coco Rosie's like one of my favorite bands, so that was fun. Yeah, New York's great. It's always inspiring.
New York's awesome, but you know, Chicago's better.
Chicago's cleaner.
Yeah.
Right. There's more garbage cans. Well, let's get into one of the tracks. We'll play Dreams. So why don't you tell us a little bit about sort of writing this and
for Dreams?
Yeah.
Oh, where do we start? I don't know. I'm thinking of Died right now.
It's a beat from my old lesbian rap group, Chambro.
Oh, shout out to Joe Carolla in New York if you're listening.
Yeah.
I think
it's one of the first things we did. Like, she started singing on it one day, and I was like, holy shit, this is so
Yeah, like, as soon as I heard it, the vocals were really, like, I just heard it right away. It was easy to kind of come up with. And then we kind of just added everything else in on it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite ones. It ended up being, like, you know, just... we reworked it together, and just like for me it was like a rebirth because I really loved the old track, and I was kind of nervous doing anything to it at all, because when you make something you don't really want to change, you're kind of like you know, and it was my baby back in the day, but I loved it from like the second she laid down scratch vocals. It was like probably one of the first two things we recorded together, and then we didn't touch it for like another year and a half.
And then she reworked the beats and parts, and which made it even like come together even more. So
and then she played some keys that were
la la la,
very pretty.
All right, well, here's Dreams off the Hush Hush album, Shuteye on the Scene here in Chicago's Underground.
In my time,
Dreams by Shuteye off the Hush Hush album here on Chicago's Underground. Album release is today, and they're right now live in studio. So for people who sort of, we jumped off and went right into the album, but for people who don't sort of know you guys or are just now getting hip to you, why don't we talk about, each of you talk about sort of your musical backgrounds and how you guys came together? Why don't you start, Alicia?
Well, since you're admiring how big your arm's blown up. Yeah, I was always into music, always in choirs, always singing since, oh my God, probably first grade. And then same with piano. And then I ended up quitting piano really early too, because I got like tired of learning other people's stuff, which is kind of funny. And I just kind of, after moving out of the house when going to college, was when I fiddled around more with the keyboard and everything kind of started changing for me more. So I originally started writing music 15, and at that time it was like more pop rock. I just like did not know what I wanted to do. Like,
well, you're 15. I mean, what can you write about?
I didn't know anything.
Right.
And then, yeah, like when I moved out, I was just playing with all these sounds that were like completely different, and just from the difference of the sounds, like made all these other things like become possible with creating things more. I think, and then I just started saving things in the library because I knew I wanted to use it. Like Sun Night Sky was one thing I saved for like a long time, and I wanted to find the right person to work on it with. And then, so yeah, Elena, met her and it worked out. So yeah.
What about you, Elena? I mean, we just heard her.
You know, my family is really musical, so I had a piano in my room from like the time I could remember walking. Like I remember my pull-up bar and my piano in Russia. So I was just always, I grew up listening to a ton of music. When we came to America, we came right to Chicago, and it was kind of like, when you go from a communist country to the U.S. right around the time of like Michael Jackson and Madonna and Nirvana and all these things.
Oh wow,
so
look
like,
at you.
I just kind of, went nuts off the radio and, started making little mixtapes and doing what little kids do when they don't have access to, instruments. And I just did that basically. And then in college, I went out one night and heard some DJ from Chicago. I don't even remember. It was probably Colette, I think, actually. And I was like just so into it. So I spent the entire year just like going every Thursday. I went to school in Champaign. They had DJs coming in from the city. And I just did that religiously like until I was out of school. And then that summer I was like, I'm getting turntables. So
nice.
I worked as a lifeguard for like 13 hours a day. And didn't go like, didn't go drinking, didn't go out with my friends. It was just like, all right, well, I'm going to go see shows and then I'm going to work 13 hours a day. And then right at the end of August, before I went back to school, I got my turntables and, my little creative records and mixer and went back to Champaign and stopped going to class and started DJing 7 hours a day.
You can live your dreams too, kids.
Yeah, pretty much. And, that's how it happened. And then I started producing around 2003. Oh, wow. And doing all house and techno and stuff. And I was touring in Europe and, having fun. Yeah, and then I just kind of, after a while, it was, I needed a break. I just wasn't feeling, like, inspired. And, it was right around the time I stopped producing and I was DJing a lot less. And then we actually met. And so Shuteye, was just that change and kind of like a rebirth and doing something different. And it worked because now I'm in love with DJing again. And house music is just amazing. There's so many great producers. So it's like a needed break that kind of revived everything else that I love as well.
How would you guys say, forming Shuteye and working together over the last year and a half, 2 years now, how has it changed both of your outlooks, like musically? Have you guys really gone a different way than you thought you would before?
No, I mean, well, when I met her, I was already fully into electronic music, and I think the things we write, it very much falls along the line of what I like to write right now, or like what just naturally comes out. But I mean, we've been evolving and changing with writing music, so like I've noticed that some of them started feeling a bit more dancier, or I don't know. I mean, we'll see where it goes, but
I mean, I was just happy to produce something different, and it's kind of, I think I learned a lot about song structure, and in the studio I've learned so much that like it's helped with other things, and now I have other projects, and house music and stuff that I'm working on, and it just sounds like a different world when I listen to tracks even from like 3 or 4 years ago to now what I can make in 2 days. It's just, you know, you learn a lot no matter what, but it's just a different approach, and you learn a lot about structure. And I think it's a lot different working on a full length than, you know, not that it's any easier or harder.
Oh yeah, than an EP. But yeah, full length album is definitely, it's a task. But one I would say that you guys did very well. I really enjoy the album. It's really great.
Thank you.
You should pick up Hush Hush, Shuteye's new album out right now. So what's on the future? I mean, you guys have been doing a little touring here and there, shows here and there. But what do you guys now that the album's out?
We've got some cool remixes that we can't talk about, but they're for some great Chicago bands that I really love. So we've got that, and then
it's just focusing
more
on
shows and promoting the album.
Yeah, focusing on pushing the album out.
It's gonna be a lot of work pushing the album, so I think you know,
so many interviews and
and
constant Facebooking and Twittering. And
yeah.
Well, we appreciate you guys coming by the scene, and you're gonna do a live set for us now, huh?
Yes.
But before that, we're gonna play another track. So would you guys, Sun Night Sky, Died? What do you want? I got the whole album.
Yeah, let's do
Died.
Died? Okay. What can you tell us about this track?
That one's a funny one because with the music and everything that was just being written, we didn't even talk about what the song was going to be about, and we both had the same feeling on it for being...
I think we talked about it.
No, like we both said it at the same time. I was like, because I remember you said it first. I was like, that's so funny because I was just going to tell you that's what I want this song to be about. Sorry, it's about just... what is it about? Right. Just friends and people close to us that passed away and moved on and everything.
Yeah.
I think I wrote it a bit more like on when someone passed away, like just, I don't know, the pull, I guess, with like people mourning over it.
Yeah.
And I think I don't really know. I was kind of out of it.
I started writing the music when my friend passed away, and it was just like, so I feel like every little sound, like from the kick to the snare to whatever, was like super emotional for me. Because like the whole, when I wrote the loop, it was like literally the only thing I knew how to deal or to do to cope with the situation.
Oh yeah, totally.
So and then she came in, and it was like boom.
And all the lyrics.
I've been through the same thing, so it was easy. That's the track that really like flowed, and we wanted to finish because it meant more, I think, than for me at least. That's the one. Awesome. The one.
Awesome. Well, here it is. Here's Died, Shuteye on the scene here in Chicago's Underground.